Coming to you straight from the Rio Grande and beyond. Broadcasting to the four corners of the globe. So grab your seat, your coffee, or your sundowner.
Okay, everybody, here we go.
On point, as always. This is Gloves Off. Gloves Off. Gloves Off is always on point. On point. Bringing you the best on current issues, community affairs, and the happenings around us. This segment of Gloves Off is brought to you by the best, so pay them a visit. Check them out. This is Gloves Off.
We're back at you in Gloves Off, and today we have two great guests from the group Pilar. How are we doing today, ladies? You doing good?
Yes. Fine, thank you.
And we're talking with Mary and
Jackie.
Tell me a little bit, what is Pilar?
So Pilar is a nonprofit behavioral health center. We do offer different programs under our umbrella. A few of which I'd like to mention is Project HIP, and Project HIP involves the HIV community. So we offer resources such as vocational, such as medical, and also counseling. It's free. You just have to qualify for the program, and we do our protocol to see who's eligible. Another program I'd like to bring into the light is our Project Tackle. That is in partnership with UT Health Science Center in San Antonio, and that one focuses on the Hep C community. Same thing, offers free counseling, free testing. Of course, you have to meet eligibility. As far as those programs are concerned, we do offer counseling, individual counseling. So in the summer, our fees are $35 per session, and it's talk therapy. There is no restrictions as to what you can talk about with your counselor. Of course, you sign your liability, your confidentiality, Whatever is said stays there, and it's a judgment-free zone there at Pillar.
You know, those are great. Those are great programs because the community needs that. I always knew Pillar was more towards suicide and suicide prevention and helping this depression and so on and so forth. How can you answer that? Is you all have that going on right now, right? Correct?
Yes, so our focus is prevention. We are revolved around prevention. So there's different ways to do that. Also we have, which is treatment, which comes after prevention. So it's important to not only educate the community, but also say, well, there is, hope after. So as far as prevention is concerned, we do go out in the community, we give presentations, we do outreach, you might see a Pillar booth here and there, and it's just all with the same information that I'm giving to you right now. As far as treatment is concerned, we do our counseling there under the Pillar building. But we do offer other resources. It just doesn't have to be counseling.
Where's Pillar located here in Medellin?
Pillar is located on the intersection of Corpus and Seymour. And to be more specific, the address is 1403 North Seymour.
Do you all have a website?
Yes, it's pillarstrong.org. Our email is also pillarstrong.org. We're on Facebook under Pillar Strong as well.
Okay. And Mary, what would you explain a little bit of what you do in there in the therapy?
Well, I provide counseling for people who are referred by the federal judge for clients, federal probation clients that are on pretrial. And not only that, I myself also provide counseling to the general public for those who need assistance in perhaps substance abuse issues as well. And what I like about that is that, and I'm speaking for the other counselors out there, it's a very beautiful atmosphere environment. All the counselors are very empathetic, very professional, and honestly, I can say they do their very best for each client.
Correct. And how long has Pillar been open?
Pillar started in 2010, and since then there's been 3 different locations. But now we're finalized in our one, which is there on Seymour. But Pillar has evolved completely. So not only are we a behavioral health center, which offers the counseling and the resources for that, but we also offer STD testing, and we do HIV testing and Hep C testing, so and drug testing. So we are just an umbrella full of different resources that I would like the community to know about.
Okay, so if somebody's applying for a job and they say we need a drug test, can they go to you all?
Yes, and our drug test costs $40, and it is a panel of 5 tests.
Okay. What do you see this community more in? Do you see more cases in depression, suicide? What do you see more cases of?
Definitely depression, a lot of bullying when we speak about the youth, suicide as well, unfortunately. But since our culture is very conservative, very traditional, it's hard for people to reach out. So we try to do as many preventative measures as needed, going out to the schools, going out to different events and showing face, because it's important to let the community know that there is a foundation, a support system that's going to be here to back them up. Whatever problem they have, it doesn't have to be a big problem, it could be a small problem, but we empathize with everyone who walks in through that door.
Okay. And the other question that would be with Ms. Mary, you get federal clients, referrals.
Yes.
How does that work?
Well, the judge, based on whatever the sentencing was, refers them for treatment, and we go ahead and we provide the treatment for the individuals, whether it's group counseling, individual counseling, and drug testing as well.
Okay. And so we do. You can say that we do have a drug problem here, right?
I think that's safe to say.
Yeah.
Yes, in every city. I think that's safe to say in every city. But the wonderful thing about Pillar is that not only are we providing all these wonderful services, like for example, the drug testing, but not just that. We're also, Pillar is becoming this big, huge entity that not only counseling and drug testing and HIV testing, which by the way is free, to the public Monday through Friday, 8 to 4 p.m. But we're also going to be providing other workshops in the summer, this summer.
Okay. Workshops in what sense?
So Maria and I are tackling two different subjects. I'll talk about mine. Mine focuses on inner beauty. So what I like to collaborate with that is you have to take care of your inside in order to feel good about your outside, basically. Same thing with mental health. If you're not physically well inside, you're not going to be physically well outside. So that's kind of my concept with my workshop. So I do play around with makeup, and it's geared towards the youth, girls, because we do see a lot of girl-on-girl bullying. So I want to make a community of women that empowers each other, helps each other grow, and I'm doing that through Pillar. So we are going to have that workshop available in the summer. Hopefully it'll stretch out through the year.
Yes.
But more information on that will be seen in our sites.
You know, I love the word bully, okay? And I've been teaching martial arts for a very, very long time. And back in 1994, we produced a program called Bully Proofing Your Child. All the other martial art instructors in the Dallas area told me, "You're crazy, Paul, that's not gonna hit, we don't have a situation." We do have, okay, we've always had. When one was growing up, if you did not know how to dribble a basketball, the coach would even bully you,
Right.
okay? So, you know, you had kids that were forced out of teams because the coach didn't have the patience or the know-how to teach them how to dribble a ball. Instead, they would bully them, okay? Then you had kids that of lower income, of social class, been bullied by the others. It's always been there. There's a difference between banter, mirth, and bullying, okay? It's when does it become an insult? When I moved back here in 2000, I told several of our leaders, we sat down and we said, this is going to happen in Laredo. Bullying is going to snap. It's going to grow out of proportion. They all said I was crazy. I used to have, come bully proof your kid, you know. Bullies wanted for training. I would always say that, and I would say that, bullies wanted for training, because a lot of these kids that are bullies themselves, they need attention.
Right.
In one way or another. And if we can funnel their energy to actually become your best friends. You know, in grade school, you ended up in a fight with the local bully, you ended up becoming a friend, and we're still friends now.
Right.
Because the kids stood up.
Right.
We have toned down our children for them not to defend themselves. Don't do that because you're going to get in trouble. Don't do that because they're going to get in trouble. So we've toned them down to the point that they are getting attacked more, right?
Right.
By all different areas.
Right.
So it's a situation that can bite us in the hand, and it can save the child in the other one. So we have to be very careful how it's been done in the past. I've seen now schools and everybody jump up in the bandwagon. Oh, we're bully proofing. Be careful, because if there's a difference between a schoolyard tussle, a fight, because they were playing with the ball and one pushes the other, that's not bullying. That's just natural social behavior.
Right.
But when somebody starts picking on somebody, and now you go from there to social media and to texting, and so that is bullying. The problem that I see, and I talk to a lot of parents here, and I get parents called all the time about bullying, from grade school all the way up to seniors, okay? And I have a father that calls me every year, twice a year, wants to bring in their son here. Now his son's a junior. He's been calling me since he was in the 5th grade that he's been bullying. Mm-hmm. Now, is that for real? Or is it now just to the point that it's an excuse of his kid being the one that's actually being the problem? You know, because I tell parents this, you're a mother. Mm-hmm. If your child has problems in math and it's not doing good, we're going to find them a tutor.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? If your child is having physical problems and limitations being a bully, you tell them how to defend themselves. You send them to a place where he's going to be gaining confidence and self-esteem. Okay? And that is something that is not being done anymore. And what I'm getting at is, we as parents have to follow the steps if we actually have a bullying situation. All the schools now, it's bullying. No, it was a fight. No, it was bullying. No, it was actually there's a difference.
Right.
And we have to set those parameters in there.
Mm-hmm.
There's laws in the state of Texas that protect the bullyee, not the bully, right? And what happens is, in the local districts here, the bully's the one that's protected and the bullyee is the one that's victimized and the one that's being punished.
Yes.
By our principals, by our counselors, by our school districts. They will move them to another school. It's not his fault, it's the bully's fault, not the bullyee.
Right.
Okay? And that needs to be changed. It's gonna get worse before it gets better. But I think we as a community need to start acknowledging to that fact. So I commend you all on that.
Thank you. And I just feel personally it's just a lack of education.
Absolutely.
You know, a lot of social issues are misled or you know, taken the wrong way because of it's a lack of education. People.
How would you say that?
Well, people don't know the difference, like you said. There is a difference. So what would the difference be? Well, that's the perfect opportunity to come see us at Pillar, and we'll go ahead and tell you, well, these are the signs for this, these are the signs for that. So just to educate ourselves and to know the difference so that there aren't situations to where it's taken too far when that wasn't the matter.
No, you're absolutely correct. One thing that I see, okay, and I told back in 2000, I told our leaders here, and they kind of ignored it. The only one that was kind of paying attention is one that he's now a judge. It's Jose Pepe Salinas. He was working with the sheriff, and he kind of said, "You know what? You're absolutely correct." I told him within 6 years, Laredo's going to start seeing a gang growth. We have it now. What's the difference between a gang and a barrio? You know, we came from barrios. We were from this one. You understand that that's always going to have that little rival. We still have them here in Laredo.
Right.
But gangs transect the city. They go from, not only here they transect the city, they transect the state as well.
Right.
And we have them here in Laredo now. Okay, we have them around. The gang can be in 2-3 schools. It's like, now, you know what I'm saying? Well, you didn't have it before. Do you all get kids that come in there that were gang in issues that are trying to get out?
I personally have never seen a client like that. I don't know how you know.
Or maybe they've been now funneled through and now he's part of the criminal system.
Well, I mean, it all depends. There's different variables for each individual person. One thing that I understand about gangs or the people who are involved in gangs, and what a lot of people don't really want to realize, is that it has to start from somewhere. That innate need for a person, let's say a person wants to join a gang, what's one of the things they're going to tell you? Well, if they mess with you,
They mess with all of us.
they mess with all of us. And that gives a person a sense of what? Family. And that's something that has been I don't want to say lacking, but that a lot of people, not just in this particular
Strive for.
city, but in every city, they don't really, when it comes to raising their children, talking to them, communicating with them, it's kind of like, okay, you're 7, you're already old enough to know. And no, these are children. We instill to them our own values, our own morals, our own ideals, and then let them make their own decision. But what I see, because I've been with probation for about 10 years, providing services to their clients, one of the things that I understand is that for not all of them, right, but for a majority of them, where was the mother? Where was the father? You know, the mother was busy on the weekends trying to find another uncle, per se. Or the father wasn't there instilling values in his own son because he happened to not be interested in the relationship anymore. And then the children are left behind. They're left behind with their aunts or with their grandparents. The grandparents and aunts or whatever the person may be are doing their best, but they're not the parents. And like I always believe, everybody has that innate desire to belong. So if a gang member approaches an individual who may seem lacking in some area, they'll say, "Hey, be a part of us, and we'll watch your back." You know, they mess with you, they mess with us.
You're
And
absolutely
that
correct.
feels so good. You know, that feels so good for these children.
And that has grown.
Yes.
You know, and I'm gonna change this in a little bit. A month ago, about not even 6 weeks ago. Okay, I'm gonna go back that far. I don't know, a student of mine that became a police officer. He was with me since high school and became a police officer. Went to police academy because of us here, and so on and so forth. And he's working, and he was in they went to this house. Okay, serve a warrant. Well, they find out that that house had something like 24 kilos of pot. The mom didn't know anything about it, but all the brothers, the oldest one was 16, and it was 15, and the 13 going to 14-year-old. Well, the 13 going to 14-year-old was the one that pulled out a gun. And he called me, and he was basically thanking me, and you can hear the gurgling, crying on voice, okay? And he said, "Thank you, Professor, for teaching me not to have killed this kid." "What are you talking about?" "I'm not going to mention it." I go, what are you talking about?" And he goes, "He pulled out a gun, and I just basically took it off him and threw him on the ground." And he goes, "It's out of hand." He goes, these gangs are using our kids to push drugs." I go, "Where's this going to stop?" Okay? And I said, number one, thank God that you're safe, and you're moving forward. And you're absolutely correct. When you see in Dallas, what I used to see in Dallas area, kids that entered gangs were the ones that were being bullied. And they went into a gang because of protection. And once inside, well, guess what? All of a sudden, they ended up doing other things. Understand? So, stepping back to the bullying, we have to stop it and realize it and stop it and end it right then and there when it starts. But it's also the parents. You need a complete paper trail for the school system to look your way. And if a lot of them say, "Well, I'll call the teacher," the teacher really doesn't care.
Right.
Okay? She's getting paid regardless if your son flunks or if he passes. We have some excellent educators out there, but that is the honest truth. And they will come back and they'll say, what do I do? Send them an emails to the teacher and to the principal. It happens again, teacher, principal, and a trustee. It happens again, forget the teacher, now it's principal, trustee, and the superintendent. And file the report, go forward. Because if not, they're not going to pay attention. Where's the letter? "Oh, well, I talked to you." When? I hear that over and over and over and over.
Yes, and that's unfortunately very sad. But going back to what Jackie was saying, a lot of it has to do with the parents' lack of education. That they really don't know what steps to take in protecting their child. They may talk to a teacher, but like the feds say, if it's not written, it didn't happen.
Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. Now let's change the topic a little bit. Now let's go into the substance abuse. What do you all look into that? How do you all help them out? Or if somebody comes into Pillar and says, "You know what, I need help," what are the first steps?
Well, we have several programs like the ones I mentioned before. Those do offer services not only for maybe if you're contracted with the HIV or Hep C virus, but if you do have substance abuse, we do have programs that also, help with the counseling and finding the resources if you need to, go into rehab or something like that. We do offer those services to help you find resources.
That's awesome. And anything else?
Absolutely. Well, if someone comes as a counselor, one of the first things that I do substance abuse assessment, and I just ask him a whole bunch of questions in regards, a little like a synopsis about his family, any mental health issues, and then I go into the different type of substances, and I ask the history of that, when the onset and everything. Then after that, I just make my diagnosis, and I pretty much, after the assessment is done, have an idea, okay, this person is going to need, like for example, 6 sessions, or this person is going to need 8 sessions, or depending on the person. Every case is different.
Sure. Here's another one that's been coming up. Do you have any fathers that are undergoing a depression that have not seen their kids going under? Have you all tried that avenue as well?
We did have someone come forth this week thanking us because he went through something like that. So thanking us for helping him. Pillar helped him go through that. We do have another one who's actually going through that right now in one of our programs. So, I mean, it feels good to know that, like we said earlier, all our counselors are very empathetic, our case managers as well. Walking into a place where it's one thing to sit and talk to someone and know they're not paying attention to you,
Right.
but you won't feel that there, because I know all of us, we team up together and we try to find a way to help an individual, no matter what it takes. And I believe that's why we have so many people thanking us.
No, it's great, because you know that I'm very strong for parental rights and father's rights and so on and
Absolutely.
so forth.
Absolutely.
And that's something that has been shunned down and put under the carpet for a long time. And so and it's unfortunate. And I would like to tell those individuals under the father's rights and the parental equal rights groups, if I can link them to you all, to send people your way. Can we do that?
Absolutely, 100%.
Yes.
You know, going back to what you said, that it unfortunately, for a father who, for divorce or separation, does not have the capacity, or the partner, the spouse, the ex does not allow him to visit with his children, that they do it out of spite, out of other kind of
Anger, whatever
situation may be. They in a sense they do it to hurt the father.
Mm-hmm.
But they're hurting the child.
They're hurting the
Right.
child, and of course the father as well. And then the fathers, I can understand that they feel helpless. You know, I want to see my son, I want to see my daughter, but you know, I can't because my ex doesn't let me. And then they go through, some of them go through depression, some of them have suicidal thoughts, you know. Some of them feel that because they're male, that they're, okay, you're a man, you're not supposed to express emotions. No, you are supposed to express emotions, but you know what, the good thing, going back to what you said, Pillar is there also to provide services for the fathers who are experiencing or going through this ordeal. They do not have to be alone in that process.
Oh, no, you're absolutely correct. And there's a syndrome now that in some states are claiming to be, it's called parent alienation, okay? And some courts are taking it as a syndrome, that it's a, you know, you have the mom that says you can't look at
Right.
the father. And it's always been that way in the past. It also happens from fathers to mothers as well, the other way
Absolutely.
around. But it doesn't happen with an ex-spouse. It happens with the ex-spouse's family as well. They start alienating the child from the parent. And it happens so much. Today I was in the group and I was reading that in Kansas, this father took his life because of it. The courts did not allow him to see his child for 2.5 years. Okay? Even though he had court orders and everything else. You know, there has to be a stop to that, because, you know, a child needs both parents. And we always came back with what you were saying earlier with, you know, you have moms that are out working, fathers are this, the father's not there.
Yeah.
We have a community that says, where's the father of the child? Well, if we're alienating him from the child, well, the child's going to be doing whatever he wants. You know?
Right.
Well, let's put it back, let's come back down to basics.
Right.
What's your next project that you all have right now?
Well, the ones in the summer, right?
Which
You
are?
didn't get to talk about yours.
No, talk about your project. What's going on?
Okay, it's called Serenity Holistic Lifestyle. What
Okay.
does that include? Okay, that includes meditation, guided imagery. Let me give you a little synopsis of that. What we're going to do, the whole idea behind that is because we live in a very fast-paced society. Everything is fast, fast, fast. People come home, they're tired. If they have children, they want to feed them right away and then get to bed. And then they don't have an opportunity to take care of themselves. What do I mean by that? I mean spiritually speaking. Now, when I say spiritually speaking, I'm not talking about any particular religious point of view or anything like that. The service, one of the services that the Pillar is going to be providing is meditation for that person who may be worn out, tired, has a lot of issues, a lot of stress, a lot of frustration, so they can have an hour to just meditate and totally relax. What does meditation do? Meditation obviously reduces stress, reduces anxiety, helps promote healthy living. Well, okay, let's put the meditation aside and the guided imagery, what else, along with that holistic workshop that we're going to have, we're also going to include ideas only for the people who are interested, obviously, on vegetarianism and veganism and the benefits of that. Why vegetarian, why veganism? Because of all the, Laredo is known, as South Texas is known, as eating a lot of delicious but unhealthy foods that later on, when the person's in their 50s and 60s, are starting to not feel their best. And we want to, Pillar wants to incorporate not only meditation, taking care of the spiritual aspect of that person, but also the health aspect of that individual as well, if they want it, obviously. What I love about Pillar, it's only been here since 2010, but it's growing and it's going to continue to grow. And one of the things is that unlike other agencies, and the other agencies are wonderful, I just have to say that they are wonderful and they provide beautiful, valuable services to the public. One thing that separates Pillar from the rest is that we are also not only going to cover the counseling, the drug testing, the HIV testing, the STD testing. We're also going to cover the spiritual aspect, the lifestyle. So why? So we can completely service the person holistically, completely, in every area of their circumstance. Another thing, Pillar has therapy cats and a registered therapy dog. You're saying, okay, what the heck is a therapy dog? What the heck are therapy cats? Well, the therapy dog and the therapy cats assist the counselors when they're in a session, let's say with a child or a teenager, or just someone who's feeling anxious, a little nervous. Petting the cat or petting the dog or whatever, it'll bring a sense of relaxation and will cause them to open up more to the counselor and feel comfortable. And we're all about providing services to the clients in the most beautiful and relaxing atmosphere.
That's awesome. How about you? What's your program that's coming up, Paige?
So as I was talking about it before, it's Inner Beauty. So I am in the process of creating a group called the Chicas Against Violence. And that is a group that I want to have in the community. Is just girl on girl power, empower, supporting each other, attending events, hosting events, just to encourage other girls to not only join, but hopefully go on the right path. It's so easy. We were talking about bullying and suicide, about, falling into hard ends, but to know that there is a group out there for you, to support you, hosting different events. Like I have a little thing I like to call makeup therapy, in which we enhance the beauty that we already have. We're not covering up the features that we were given to us. So it's about appreciating yourself, your inner self, and of course your physical features.
Okay, that's good. And when is that going to take place? When is that going to kick off?
It probably won't happen until July, but like I said before, we will have flyers soon.
Yes.
And
yes.
So what are the age groups for the young ladies?
There's no age limit. I have no age limit, so I do have, older women sometimes interested in that as well. So everybody needs to take care of their inner self.
Absolutely. For my particular workshop, we're going to offer services for children with the disclaimer we have to have the parents' authorization to do so. Now that one is geared to start June the 22nd, Saturday, from 12 to 1.
I mean, that's around the corner.
That's around the corner, yes it is.
That's around the corner for you all.
Yes.
Are you all going to be looking back into the bullying? Are you guys going to be touching base with some of the school districts or trying to push that forward, or what has their response been?
Maybe about a month ago, we were contacted from LISD to give presentations on, I guess, growing pains, really.
Mm-hmm.
So adolescent responsibilities falling under suicide, bullying, any kind of prevention. So we did give 40 presentations to LISD schools. And I know UISD is looking into doing that same kind of preventive measure this coming school year. So the school districts are all for Pillar. So we do have that preventive measure.
Good. It's good to see some have been awakened and we need to do something now. I'm glad.
Definitely.
Absolutely. With all this, with the new age that's coming, as it started with the cyberbullying, people get on Facebook, people get on Instagram, on what other avenue, and they actually bully the child. Like, the saddest thing that I read this past week was a child from the UK. The child basically hung himself. It's a little boy, because he was bullied because he did not, he was not, accepted into the group of the new school that he was transported to by his parents. Now, to me, that's such a sad situation when anybody, regardless of age, has to get to that point that they feel, you know what, death is a lot better than suffering. So what I love, one of the things that I love about Pillar is that Pillar does provide those services: bullying prevention, suicide prevention. They have all these presentations, all these talks. Why? To reach out to the public and to let that person know, you know what, you're not in this alone. And if you're going through this, we can help you.
You know, I wouldn't direct to that because, you know, you're right. Folks go into that rabbit hole, and sometimes they go in there and they don't come out. And we have to start understanding when somebody starts going down that we'll be able to pull them back up, you know? And it happens all the time. It happens to friends, happens to people that we know. And I know you've been very active also on Facebook, because we know each other for a while now. And things occur. People throw out signs and, hey, what's going on?
Right.
And you know, I know you've done it, I've done it, and we've stopped some folks from going into that little rabbit hole, you know, and that's what we have to do. The preventative measures is what I'm all for. You see, we don't have no preventative gang measures here in Laredo. We have no preventative programs, nor from the city, nor from the county, for kids not to go into drugs, into a way for them to do something good. There's not a one. There's, you know, you have the sheriff trying to teach kids for free in the boxing, the PAL, which we commend them for what he's doing.
Right.
But there's nobody actually monitoring any kid, what they're doing. I mean, they can go to boxing, you can go boxing, and the gangbanger as well as the kid that's not in the gang is going to be doing boxing at the same school.
Right.
Okay, what are you going to prevent those kids from going into that road? That's not being done. So programs need to be done for preventative measures. And right now Laredo is lacking. It's in the negative. But you try to talk to them, and everybody's more concerned of, oh, we already have 50 kids that are already in drugs. Let's pay for this program to get them out of drugs. No, let's pay for the programs not to get them into drugs.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm for. Let's pay for those programs. That's more important. We already know we have kids in drugs and in jail, and it's filled.
Right.
You know, it's a capacity almost. But let's settle before.
Yeah, I mean, but I totally agree with what you're saying, but also, in my personal view, it goes back to the parents. You know, why are you letting a 9-year-old kid, a 10-year-old kid walk the streets at night, you know, past a certain hour? I mean, why, how could anybody conceive that would be something natural? But unfortunately, that does happen a lot. You know, it happens.
Yeah, no, I'm serious. Or I've had 12-year-olds, you know, I have nothing against tattoos, okay? But I've had 12-year-olds that come in with tattoos here with marijuana leaf. They're 12. Wow. And the mom's like, oh, well, I can't discipline them. Well, what do you want me to do with them? You know what I'm saying? I mean, my name's Paul, I'm not Saint Paul, you know? you know what I'm saying? I mean, you have to put your foot down. It's called discipline starts at home.
Exactly.
And that's where you come in with the parenting. Is there any classes geared for parenting?
I know that Pillar offers parenting classes as well. In the future, also, Pillar is going to be providing services for the clients that are from CPS, referred from them as well. So we're going to be reaching out to the community also in that particular avenue as well. It starts, you know, one drop at a time. I know it's a drop in the sea, so to speak, but Laredo has so many needs, as every individual city has so many needs. And back again to Pillar, that's something that we're doing. We are trying our best to see that we fulfill, or at least try to meet every single need of every person in every capacity.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I want to thank you. Well, anything else that you all want to say? I want to, above that, I want to thank you all for standing up and doing something right.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Okay.
Thank you.
And organizations like Pillar are the ones that we should start supporting, and many other organizations out there as well. But like I said, we have to, and it's always the nonprofits that are the ones that are leading. It's not the government-based organizations; those are failing left and right. It's the ones that are nonprofits are the ones that are, hey, let's do this for the youth. Let's do this for this. You know what? We have to do this. It's the nonprofits that keep this up.
One thing I do want to remind the public, if you allow me this, is that going back to the testing, just the public, we test for HIV free, Monday through Friday. The STDs is only a $40 fee, and it'll test for gonorrhea, syphilis, and chlamydia. Now, if the person happens to come out positive for any of those diseases, we also provide medication free as well. And this is a service that maybe perhaps a lot of people don't know. We also test also for the Hep C as well. So many, many wonderful things. I encourage everybody who's in Laredo within listening ear to give a call to Pillar, to find out what services they need or other things. Maybe they can help us as well.
Awesome. Totally awesome. You? Anything else?
You could find us again, 1403 North Seymour, or you can call us 956-723-7457.
All right, ladies. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you, Pillar, for standing up. Folks, be safe. Remember, it's the summer, and you have kids on skateboards and bikes and all that other stuff, so start driving. Put the cell phone down. You can text when you park. All right? Till next time. Peace.
If you've ever wondered, if you ever had a clue what would happen if Batman, the Avengers, the X-Men fought the 47 Ronin, you will have great hitting, power strikes, and speed. This event will be known as the North Texas Stick Fighting Championships. It's open to all martial artists. This is where legends are formed, where they're forged, where they are founded. Sign up now. Call the number 956-401-4868 and look up the website at www.savate.biz. So remember, this is for serious martial artists. If you're not serious, sit back and whisper about the event. If not, we'll see you there. Gloves Off is always on point. Bringing you the best on current issues, community affairs, and the happenings around us. This segment of Gloves Off is brought to you by the best, so pay them a visit. Check them out. This is Gloves Off.